Happy Monday. Come on and join me. Come on and join me. I'm going to give it just a minute and then I'm going to get started. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Come on and join me. I am dueling tonight, so bear with me just a moment. I'm going to see if I can get this other one connected here really, really quick. And then we'll be ready to jump in. Let's see. See if we can get it going here. Hope you've had a good Monday. And all is well. Okay, looks like we're good there. All right. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to be able to make both of these devices work tonight. So we can see if we can't shoot from both, burn the candle at both ends tonight. So happy Monday to you. Hope you've had a wonderful Monday. And as I said, I'm kind of dueling tonight. So I'm on two devices. But hope you've had a good day, had a good weekend, and all is well. As you know, last week I started talking about change thinking, and with the turn of events that we have experienced the last few days over the weekend, and not only that, but just life. There's a lot going on. And in order for us to really move ourselves forward, we've got to change our thinking, how we're thinking about things, how we're acting on those things. And so I want to share some things with you tonight. Last week, I talked about change thinking, the fact that change thinking is not automatic. Number one, it's not automatic. You might want to grab a pen and paper so you can jot some of these things down. Because I'm hoping to encourage and ignite your thinking and cause you to think about some things that will be beneficial to you, beneficial to your life, beneficial to those persons who you impact on a daily basis. So number one, change thinking is not automatic. It does not happen automatic. It requires us to engage in the process. Okay. Number two, change thinking is difficult because we are programmed, we're conditioned by our experiences, by how we were reared, by our environment to think a particular way. Not only that, change thinking is an investment and is worth the investment. And I tell you why it's an investment, because you have to take time in order to condition yourself to think a different way. And so I know for myself, so many things have evolved and changed since I was a young girl and going through different phases of learning and developing and things of that nature after marrying and having children and divorcing and all of these different experiences of life. I've had to change my thinking about some things, how I do some things, how I handle some processes. Those things have had to go through a metamorphosis. They've had to go through some type of process of change in order for me to develop and to continue to grow. So it's important that we invest the time. And here's the thing, a thought life is a real thing and it does exist. And if you don't have a thought life, I'm telling you, you'll find yourself being depressed, having anxiety and all this other kind of thing, because you're not utilizing those neurons in the brain to help you really develop a thought life. So these are some things I jotted down because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any points tonight. So if you want to think better and if you want to be a better thinker, then you have to improve your thinking. You have to improve your thinking. And so you might ask the question, how do I improve my thinking? I'm glad you asked. So I've been, as I stated, John Maxwell is one of my favorite leadership authors, especially just motivational leadership that kind of thing. I've been a fan for years. And so there's a book that I've been reading. And so I want to lift some thoughts from it. How successful people think. And with some good nuggets in there. So I'm intertwining this so this you won't know what's original and what's not because it's intertwined. But at the end of the day, we have to improve our thinking. And how do we do that? And so it's important that you do because it's going to help you to move forward in what it is that you're doing. So what are you putting inside of your head? What are you putting in your brain? What are you putting on your mind with your thinking? How are you thinking? For those of you who are joining, good evening to you. Happy Monday. Definitely share this. Tag, share, invite. Tag, share, and invite. So then the first thing is expose yourself to good input, good deposits. You need to make sure that you're exposing yourself to some good thinking. People who think on a higher level than you do. How else do you improve your thinking? You improve your thinking by what you read. Magazines, the books you read, magazines, who you listen to, CDs you listen to, podcasts that you listen to. Make sure that it's content that's going to develop you, enhance you, cause you to think, challenge you. Not only that, you want to be in a circle of people that challenge you. So it's important. And then you want to collaborate with other thinkers, people that are thinkers. It's a sad indictment when you're the only person in a circle that thinks and everybody's pulling and drawing from you. You want to make sure that you are placing yourself around people who are also thinkers. And you don't always want to be the highest thinker in the circle. You want someone else that challenges your thinking, pushes you forward. I had someone today to say to me, "You're my purpose pusher, my purpose pusher." Well, I have to have somebody who pushes my purpose and pushes me in the direction and challenges me to do things on a different level. And you do too. It's important that you have that. So you got to expose yourself to good thinking. You got to have some good input there. And so you want to make sure that you're around people who are depositing and not just people who are withdrawing from you. Because it's important that you have people who can speak in, positive things into you, challenge you to think on a different level. And not only that, challenge you to have ideas that take you outside of your comfort zone. So that's the first thing. When something intrigues and jolts your thinking, it's important that you write it down. Pen to paper. This is going to help to stimulate your thinking. Not only that, it's going to be there for you to kind of mull over and go back to it at a different time. What a lot of us do, we sit, we think, we never jot it down, we never write it down. I have learned, even for myself, to capture my thoughts. Because here's what will happen. I'll say something, I'll do something, or somebody will say something in my presence, and it's an excellent thought that jolts my thinking for an idea at that point. If I don't take the moment to write it down, it is not guaranteed that I'm going to be able to get that back at a later time. So it's important that we capture our thoughts and that we do that on a regular basis because we miss opportunities when we don't do it. And so it's important that we take the time to write down, put pen to paper. I don't care, where you are, get your notepad out, use your phone or whatever the case may be, but make sure that you capture those thoughts. For those of you that are joining, thank you for joining me. I'm on 2 devices tonight, so you'll see me glance up and down. But at the end of the day, share, tag, and invite. We're talking about challenging your thinking, change thinking, and thinking yourself forward because it's going to take a different mindset. It's going to take you evolving. It's going to take you going to a different level in your thinking, your thought life, because that hinges on everything that we do because we channel ourselves through what we think. And even the word lets us know, and I've said this before, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It directs us. It gives us guidance. It's our compass. So it's important what kind of thoughts we have. So number one, we've got to expose ourselves to good thinkers. We've got to expose ourselves to good input. And then number 2, to good thinkers. So you got to spend the time with the right people. Somebody that's going to stretch you. Somebody's going to stretch your thinking. If you've always thought on a level that is comfortable and conducive to where you are, to what you know, to who you know, to where you go, that's where you pretty much, that's your lid. That's where you're going to stop. But when you're challenged to think outside of that environment, think outside of the box, think outside of that environment, think outside of that circle, then it challenges you, it stretches you to go to another place. It makes you think about what you can and cannot do, how you can do it, who you're going to need to do it. And 9 times out of 10, if you allow yourself to think on a level that is beyond what you are normally used to, it's going to take somebody else to help you do whatever that is, 9 times out of 10, because it's going to be bigger than you. So you want to be around good thinkers, people that are going to stretch your thinking and cause you to go to the next level. Be around, it's even today, be around people that don't be afraid to be challenged. Let people be challenged by someone. And it doesn't necessarily have to be major, but any challenge is going to take you out of your comfort zone. Today, I was challenged, and I'm struggling with the challenge because I've had this challenge several times before. And so trying to find the right means and the right process to make it through this is number one. But number two, because there are other limitations that I have because of my thinking and my thought process, it is a true challenge for me. So I've got to be strategic in this effort so that I can get through this challenge and make it to the next on the other side of it. And I'm going to do it because here again, I'm going to talk about this later. It's a discipline. So the other thing about exposing yourself to good thinkers is you want to make sure that you're around people who want to grow and who want to learn. You want to be around people who want to grow and who want to learn, because if you're around people who want to grow and want to learn, it's going to challenge you and push you to grow and to learn. That is key. And I'm telling you, you never stop. You never stop. And so you have to take advantage of every opportunity you have to take yourself to the next place. I posted something yesterday, in light of these events. And I think one of the things that is major in what we are learning is that we have to make the best of the time that we have. And we have to be intentional about the time we have every day, because we don't ever know. Hey, LaTanya, thanks for joining tonight. Definitely share, tag and invite as you're joining. Until you see tomorrow, all you have is today. So you gotta live in purpose, and you gotta live on purpose every day. How are you thinking about your life as you live each day? What do you think? Because for some of us, and this is why we have to be careful about the circle that we're around. Because some of us, it's just, oh, whatever. I'm just chilling. It's just nothing. There are no aspirations for life. There's no, what I can say about what I've seen about and I'm not gonna hang my hat here long, because this is, I'm sure many of you have been watching and listening, but and someone confirmed this today. I was listening to the radio. Kobe Bryant transitioned doing what it was that he was purposed and called to do, and he was doing that with someone that he loved, his daughter. And so it wasn't, it's so important that we make the main thing. And Bishop Jakes was talking about this yesterday. And so there are a lot of different moving parts and pieces. But at the end of the day, are we being intentional about the life we're living? Are we living that life on purpose, in purpose? And do we know what the purpose is? Because at the end of the day, at 41 years old, this young man had accomplished so much. And it's amazing, when I sat and I just listened to the things that he'd done, the people he had impacted. Who are you impacting? What have you done? What are you doing with your family? How are you impacting your family? How are you making a difference every day with the people you come in contact with? That's a lesson that we all need to take from this horrible tragedy. But at the end of the day, God is always at the helm of everything that happens. And so we have to make sure that we are surrounding ourselves and we're challenging ourselves to be better every day. And so be careful about the circle that you're around and who it is, because the word also lets us know in Proverbs, and I think it's chapter 27, between 25 and 27, but the fact that iron sharpens iron. And so you got to be around people that help you be better, make you grow. And not only that, as you're impacting, you're being impacted, right? So let's move on. Number 3. So the first one was we got to make sure that we got good input, right? Expose yourself to good input. Then number 2, you want to expose yourself to good thinkers. Number 3, you want to choose to think good thoughts. See, it's a decision. What we think about is a decision. If you think you can't do a thing, guess what? You're going to be able to do it. If you choose to think that you're depressed and this, that, and the other, all this other stuff, anxiety, what your thought life, I'm telling you, the thought life is real. And so it's important that you choose to think good thoughts. You got to be intentional about about the thoughts that you think. You got to be intentional about the thoughts that you think. So you got to challenge them, channel them. You got to channel your thoughts. And so here again, I go to Philippians 4:6-8. Tells us the kinds of things we need to be thinking about and thinking on. And so these are the kinds of things we have to encourage and motivate ourselves. And we have to be around people that challenge our thinking, help us to think better, help us to improve our thinking, people that want to grow, that want to learn, and help us to go to another level. Put yourself in the right place to think, shape your thoughts, stretch your thoughts, and so that your thoughts land in a good place. Thinking is a discipline. Thinking is a discipline. It's a discipline. When you have ideas, it's up to you to make sure that those ideas move forward. Establish a place that you think, a thinking place. I never will forget, before I started pen to paper, this was probably about 4 years ago now, I took a sabbatical and I went to a city I'd never been to just to think, just where it was, I did not have any distractions so that I could think. And I'm telling you, it is cathartic and therapeutic and it works. And so not only did I just think, but I took pen and paper so that I could write down the ideas that came to mind. And then I had to, not only do you need to establish a place to think, but then you also need to take pen and paper. You need to make sure you got pen and paper, journal, some sort of device so that you can capture what comes out of you. Okay. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to capture those things in a way that they're time sensitive, that you put some kind of measurement on those ideas that come out of you, out of your spirit. Okay, because the fourth thing is you got to act on these thoughts. Once you think them, once you challenge yourself, once you discipline yourself to think the good thoughts, then you got to act on those thoughts, right? Ideas have a short shelf life. And here's the deal, they're even shorter if you don't write them down. Okay, so you got to write these things down. And you got to act on them before the expiration date. And listen, I'm telling you, things will expire on you if you don't act on them. Because a lot of times we waiting on somebody else to say go. We waiting on somebody else to push us. We're waiting on somebody else, to jump in there and trouble the water for us. We ain't trying to scoot in there. We ain't trying to inch in there on our own. We waiting on somebody else to do it. And then if somebody else beats us to it, then we complaining. You know how the man was at the pool. So here's the deal. You got to be intentional and you got to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to act on these things before, because opportunities are not obligated to repeat themselves and represent themselves. So you got to make sure that you capture these ideas, write them down, because the shelf lives of these ideas are short and the expiration dates will come before you know it. So you got to think it through, you got to follow up, and you got to follow through. Okay, think it through. So this is the purpose of having time to think. And when I was reading this book, and I'm telling you how to pick it up because it's really, really good. How successful people think, and there was one piece in there that talked about the owner of Chick-fil-A, the operations manager, and talked about how they have scheduled thinking, and they schedule time, 30 minutes a week, a day a month, and 2 days or so a year to just think. Go to a place, find your place, establish a place that you just gonna think. That's what you're gonna do. That's your whole mission. That's your whole disposition. That's your whole function for that time that's set aside. Take pen and paper and you let those ideas flow. Because I'm telling you, sometimes that's what is required in order for you to move to the next place. So many of us have missed opportunities, including myself, because we did not do this piece. We did not think it through. We did not follow through, and we did not follow up. Okay, so that's important. Here's another thing. When we talk about this whole thinking process, and there was a good quote in here I'm going to share with you in just a second, and that is, you got to take your emotions out of it. You got to take your emotions out of the equation. You cannot depend on your feelings to take your thinking to another place, because there's going to be a lot of days you don't feel like doing some things, but you've got to put your thinking to work, and you got to activate some things, and you got to do some things irregardless of how you feel, right? Yesterday was one of those days I was like kind of blah, but at the end of the day, my mind was going, and I was still getting ideas about different things and creativity. And guess what? I had to write that stuff down. So it mattered not what my emotions were, but at the end of the day, there's creativity and there are things that I still need to be doing. Okay. And so I have to continue to challenge myself to maintain my momentum so that I can move forward with that. Right. So you got to take your emotions out of, the equation. And this is a quote that was shared, and it says, "You can act your way into feeling long before you can feel your way into action." I'm gonna say it again. You can act your way into feeling long before you can feel your way into action. You can act your way into feeling long before you can feel your way into action. And y'all know that's true. You can say a thing. If you say thank you long enough, in a minute you'll start thinking about some things, and you start thinking about some things. So that's a very, very, very true statement. You can act your way into feeling long before you can feel your way into action. So you got to take your emotions out of the equation, and you've got to be intentional about what you act on. Good thinking will help to fuel good emotions and help you to gain momentum and move yourself forward to repeat this process over and over again. And that's what it's going to require. You're going to have to make sure that you have discipline to establish your thinking, to have a place for thinking, to act on the thoughts that come to you, to surround yourself with good people. You got to have good input. You got to expose yourself to higher level. This year is all about, for me, in these next few minutes, I want to just share this and encourage you. This year for me, of course, I have a couple events I'm going to tell you about in just a minute, because I want to encourage you to be a part of those. But this year for me is to expose myself to some higher level opportunities, to expose myself to some different environments. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing, because in order for me to grow, in order for me to learn, in order for me to come out of where I am, go to another level, because all of us, depending on the level you go to, you can get in a comfort zone. And so after a while, it's time to challenge yourself to come out of there and move forward. And so I want to encourage you, do something you've never done. Go attend a conference, or be a part of a seminar, or get some education that you've never gotten. Listen to some podcasts of people that you may not have listened to before. And here's the deal. Whatever it is that you aspire to do, those are the people you need to surround yourself with and listen to. If it's being a leader, you need to make sure you listen to leaders, that you're around leaders, that you read material about leaders. If you want to be an artist and you want to be a music artist, then you need to surround yourself with people who are music artists. That's what they do. They live, they breathe, and they just consume music. Whatever it is that you aspire to do, if you want to be a crafter, or whatever it is that you're a creative artist, whatever it is you want to do, hang around those people. Aspire to learn that information. Read books about that information, and make sure that you're growing and you're developing. Because I'm telling you, if you don't put the time in and invest in that time into yourself and make it improving your thinking will never grow. You'll never grow, and you'll never learn. So it's important that you put these things in place so that you can change your thinking, because it's not automatic. It is difficult because we're conditioned, and by tradition and experiences in life, we're conditioned to think a particular way. So, and the other thing about it is that it is worth your time. It's the investment that you make to take yourself to another level. Okay. So hopefully these were good nuggets. And I see y'all were listening real good tonight. But if anybody has questions or anything you'd like for me to repeat on either platform, definitely just put it in the comment section, and I'll be happy to repeat it for you. And if in fact there's anybody who has a question, I'll give it a minute. And while I'm giving it a minute, I'll just tell you about, of course, coming up June 26th and 27th, Ladies Calling, all ladies, women of leadership, executive women, corporate women, women who are leaders in your home. It doesn't matter. It'll be the second women's retreat. We're going to be in Portland, Oregon, June 26, 27, 2020. It's going to be an amazing time. Last year in Las Vegas was so phenomenal. Women were just blessed. We were to capacity. And so I am so looking forward to this year and what's going to happen. We're going to be hiking up into the mountains. And I don't know if it's a full hike, but we will be going into the mountains, and it's called Monmouth. It's a waterfall, but it's a bridge in between the mountains. And it's actually the picture that's on the flyer that's on pen to paper on the page, Bridget Moody Consulting and or pen to paper. So you can go to pentopaper.biz and you can register, or you can reserve your spot with a non-refundable deposit. We'd love to have you be a part of the Women's Retreat in Portland, Oregon. It is going to be amazing. So that's June 26th and 27th. So now's a good time to plan, prepare, Make sure you lock your space in, get your ticket, all that kind of good stuff, okay? And then, of course, later in the year, we'll have the Pen to Paper Conference, which is going to be in Dallas this year, November 6th and 7th. So looking forward to all those amazing things that are going to be happening this year. I'm hoping to see some ladies. Of course, that space is limited, so you'll definitely want to jump on that. Anybody have any questions? Let me just make sure. Check on these. Okay, nobody had questions. Well, listen, as always, thank you so much for joining me every Monday for Monday Motivation. And for those of you who come back, watch the replay, I appreciate you sharing it with your circle and encouraging other people to take part in the process. Listen, change your thinking, get your thinking adjusted, discipline yourself to think, get your thinking schedule, carve out some time every week, every month, and sometime during the year to just think and just spend time with yourself and get those ideas and make sure that you're maintaining the momentum of your creativity, okay? So listen, until next time, next week, I'll be right back here, 8:30 Central Standard Time. For those of you who have not moved over to the Bridget Moody Consulting platform, definitely go over there and follow and like that page because we're there each Monday. I just happen to be able to dual tonight. But for the most part, I am on the Bridget Moody Consulting platform every Monday. So join me there. I'd appreciate it. And we have some things that post over there that don't necessarily post on the Bridget Moody page. So definitely go over there and join us and listen. Looking forward to seeing you back here next Monday, same time, same place, 8:30 Central Standard Time. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next time on Monday Motivation. Bye-bye.